Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India. I'm Gautam Roy. This is Express News, the show where we bring you the day's top 100 developments from the country and the world in under 30 minutes. Here goes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has posted on social media about his telephonic conversation with Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu on Wednesday, in which he conveyed New Year greetings and discussed about strengthening India-Israel ties and fighting terrorism with determination. Prime Minister Modi on Wednesday hailed the ICGS Samudra Pratap's commissioning, which took place on the 5th of this month, India's first indigenous pollution control vessel, boosting self-reliance, security and sustainability. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, during his 6-day visit to France and Luxembourg, interacted with members of the Indian community in Luxembourg, where he underlined the significant deepening of partnership with Luxembourg across political, business and technology domains. Dr. Jaishankar also had an interaction with Luxembourg's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs, Xavier Bettel, covering the bilateral cooperation and global situation. Both the leaders specifically discussed finance, investments, digital, AI, space and talent mobility. Also, they talked about deepening of India-EU ties further. EM Jaishankar also met Grand Duke Guillaume of Luxembourg and conveyed the warm greetings of President Draupadi Murmu. Dr. Jaishankar appreciated his positive sentiments for India and for the deepening bilateral ties. In a press conference in Luxembourg, the External Affairs Minister termed India's relationship with Pakistan as exceptional due to Islamabad's long-standing and open support for terrorism. Union Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal is set to visit Brussels from the 8th to the 9th of this month, where he'll hold a meeting with European Union Commissioner Maros Sefcovic to give a decisive push to conclude the India-EU FTA negotiations. The Election Commission of India's 3-day international conference will begin from the 21st till the 23rd of this month in New Delhi. It will focus on technological innovations in democracy and election management. The India International Conference on Democracy and Electoral Management Director General Rakesh Kumar Verma has announced that the January conference will discuss artificial intelligence tools' role in electoral processes in detail. The Indian Railways electrified over 99.2% of its 70,000-kilometer broad gauge network by November 2025, with solar capacity surging to 900 megawatts. The Indian Space Research Organisation, or ISRO, has announced PSLV C-62 mission launch on the 12th of this month at 10:17 a.m. IST from Sriharikota, carrying primary hyperspectral Earth observation satellite EOS-N1 Anvesha and 18 co-passengers. International Big Cat Alliance posted on social media platform X, urging all to join a panel on big cat recovery and conservation standards at International Research and Action on Landscape Ecology 2026 conference at the Periyar Reserve next month. The Archaeological Survey of India has on Wednesday announced the integration of ticketing for over 170 monuments and museums on Open Network for Digital Commerce, that's ONDC, enabling bookings via multiple apps like Highway Delight. The Prime Minister's office has shared on social media on Wednesday that a new study shows farm producers' income more than doubled, rising 126% from 2014-15 to 2023-24 during the tenure of Prime Minister Modi. The PMO also shared that the Department of Economic Affairs has unveiled a 17 lakh crore Indian rupees 3-year PPP pipeline with 852 projects to accelerate India's infrastructure via private sector involvement. Further, the PMO also noted that India's solar module manufacturing surged 128.6% year-on-year to 144 gigawatts in 2025, adding 81 gigawatts from 63 gigawatts in 2024. The Prime Minister's office also noted that India exported Apple iPhones worth 8.51 lakh crore Indian rupees in 2025, growing the electronics production six-fold, and electronics exports have grown 8 times under Prime Minister Modi's focused leadership since 2014. And the PM's office also highlighted that India's car makers exported a record 858,000 vehicles in 2025, up 15% year-on-year, driven by demand in Africa, South America and West Asia. And the PM's office also posted on social media that India Ratings and Research projects India's GDP growth at 6.9% in FY27, Goldilocks situation persisting due to GST, tax cuts and trade pacts. In business, Indian equity indices ended lower on Wednesday. At close, the Sensex was down 102.2 points or 0.12% to close at 84,961.14. The Nifty on Wednesday was down as well by 37.95 points to close the session at 26,140.75. The Indian rupee ended 29 paise lower at 89.88 per dollar on Wednesday versus its previous close of 90.17, strengthening against the USD. Global oil prices fell further on Wednesday, with Brent at around $60 per barrel and WTI $56 per barrel, pressured by ample supply and potential Venezuelan output increase. Global gold prices dipped slightly at around 4,490 per ounce, that's in dollars, on Wednesday, boosted by safe haven demand from a Venezuela crisis, awaiting US jobs data. Global silver prices eased slightly at around 79.55 USD per ounce, supported by safe haven demand from Venezuela tensions, supply concerns and strong industrial use. The US dollar index holds around 98.5, slightly higher amid easing Venezuela concerns, while awaiting key US jobs data. Bitcoin on Wednesday traded around $92,300 after earlier rebound, with Ethereum near 3,270 USD. The market is buoyed by institutional inflows and ETF filings. Asian stocks declined 0.5% on Wednesday, with Nikkei down 0.66% and Hang Seng dipping, pausing strong yearly rally amid Venezuela tensions and oil slump. While stocks Europe 600 rose 0.16% to around 603 on Wednesday, extending gains after breaking 600 mark, supported by easing inflation and positive sentiment. Venezuela's interim leader, Delcy Rodriguez, insisted on Tuesday no foreign power was governing her country, even as US President Donald Trump announced Caracas will be swiftly turning over millions of barrels of oil to the US. Rodriguez, who is vice president under toppled leader Nicolas Maduro, has given mixed signals about how much she is prepared to cooperate with US President Trump, at times sounding conciliatory and at others defiant. Speaking 3 days after US Special Forces captured Maduro and his wife in a raid in Caracas, Rodriguez said that the government of Venezuela is in charge in our country and no one else. After Maduro's capture by US forces, Caracas has agreed to export up to $2 billion worth of oil, that is 30 to 50 million barrels of Venezuelan crude, to the US. That's Donald Trump, who has said that he'll be in control of the proceeds for bilateral benefit. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in Luxembourg on Wednesday expressed India's concern over Venezuela developments after US capture of Maduro, urging dialogue for people's safety and well-being. The White House on Tuesday declared acquiring Greenland as a national security priority, discussing options including US military, while Denmark, Europe have rejected threats, warning of NATO's collapse. At Paris's Coalition of the Willing Summit on Tuesday, French President Emmanuel Macron, UK PM Keir Starmer, Ukraine's Zelensky signed a declaration for UK-France reassurance force and military hubs post-ceasefire, as US also backed security guarantees for Ukraine. Iran's nationwide protests over economic hardship continue into Wednesday, with at least 36 killed, over 1,200 arrested in clashes which have intensified in Tehran Bazaar despite crackdown. The Saudi-backed coalition has claimed that STC leader Edraus al-Zubaydi fled to unknown location, skipping Riyadh peace talks. Strikes were launched in Dalia, dismissing him for treason. In a statement, coalition spokesperson Turki al-Maliki said a flight carrying a large number of senior leaders of the separatist group departed after a delay of more than 3 hours without Zubaydi and with no information on his whereabouts. Israel and Syria have agreed to set up a communication mechanism in US-mediated talks to coordinate on security, intelligence and commercial issues in Paris. A minority youth died in Bangladesh by jumping into a canal after he was being chased by locals in Dalgaon's area. Atrocities against minorities continue in Bangladesh as the number of deaths have gone up to 6 in over a fortnight amid unrest. The United Nations has confirmed that it will not send observers for Bangladesh's parliamentary election scheduled for the 12th of next month. South Korea's sacked President Yoon Suk-yeol's trial over the short-term martial law imposition is set to conclude this week. Ex-President Yoon is charged with conspiracy to stage a riot with the aim of subverting the constitution by illegally declaring martial law in the absence of war or an equivalent national emergency. Former Uvalde School District Police Officer Adrian Gonzalez is on trial in Nueces County Court in Corpus Christi for his role as one of the officers who responded to the Texas elementary school shooting. The French Parliament observes a minute of silence for the victims of the deadly fire in ski resort in Switzerland on New Year's Eve, which claimed 40 lives. Brazil's imprisoned former President Jair Bolsonaro was taken to hospital for tests after falling and hitting his head. He had recently been hospitalized for health issues and was discharged on the 1st of January. Supporters of US President Trump and members of the far-right Proud Boys marched towards the Capitol to observe the 5th anniversary of the US Capitol attacks in 2021, sparking counter-protests and a heavy police presence. Time now for a quick break in Express News, but do keep watching DD India for the rest.
This week on Defence Dynamics, India is reshaping its military structure with Bhaira formations. What are ramjet-powered artillery shells? And how India's rocket punch gets an emergency boost with Suryastra. As Europe and Israel turn to India for industrial depth, my take explains the why. Watch Defence Dynamics this Wednesday at 8 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're with Express News on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy. Let's resume. The India Meteorological Department has forecast dense to very dense fog over North India. Orange alert has been issued for Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Uttar Pradesh and East Rajasthan. The IMD has also predicted cold wave conditions over Chandigarh, Jharkhand and Vidarbha. Kashmir is experiencing severe cold with weather forecasts of light rain or snowfall in high reaches and near zero visibility caused by dense fog over the next few days. Southern states such as Tamil Nadu and Kerala may witness spells of rain accompanied by thunderstorms with isolated heavy rainfall possible in some areas. Heavy snowfall swept across Europe, bringing widespread disruption in Germany. Temperatures plunged well below -10 degrees Celsius. In Britain, the Meteorological Department reported winter weather hazards could continue throughout the week for most of the country. Temperatures fell below -12.5 degrees Celsius. Heavy snow in Paris has forced major flight cancellations, with about 40% of the flights at Charles de Gaulle and 25% at Orly Airport impacted. More than 400 flights have been cancelled at Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, and all domestic rail services suspended due to weather and an IT outage. Heavy rains in Kosovo have caused severe flooding and power outages as well. Authorities warned that the situation is expected to deteriorate over the coming days. Snow and heavy rains caused power failures and flooding in parts of the Balkans, with one woman killed and a weather-related accident in Bosnia. Orthodox Christians in Serbia and Montenegro gathered on Tuesday to celebrate Christmas Eve with the burning of oak branches known as barnjaks. Both the countries follow the Julian calendar to mark Christmas in January rather than December. In Moscow, Russian Orthodox Patriarch Kirill led a Christmas Orthodox Divine Liturgy on Wednesday night in Christ the Saviour Cathedral. Orthodox Christians celebrate the holiday on the night of the 7th of January. In Bethlehem, the Greek Orthodox Patriarch of Jerusalem, Theophilos III, arrived at the West Bank city to celebrate Orthodox Christmas on Tuesday. Bolivian Catholics marked the Feast of the Epiphany on Tuesday by bringing baby Jesus figurines to churches in La Paz for a traditional blessing. The Feast of the Epiphany, also known as the Three Kings Day, commemorates the visit of the three Magi to baby Jesus. Pope Leo XIV is hosting cardinals from around the world in the Vatican for 2 days after calls for a more collegial governance of the Catholic Church. Elvis Presley fans and tribute artists kicked off their annual journey to the Elvis Festival in the Australian town of Parkes to remember the iconic artist. We played the wrong shots there. Pardon that. Consumer Electronics Show CES 2026, the largest technology exhibit in the United States, kicked off on Tuesday in Las Vegas with excited visitors lined up to see products incorporating artificial intelligence. The event will close on the 9th of this month. The Consumer Electronics Show, known traditionally as the launchpad for the latest in technology gadgets, has emerged as a key destination for debutant EV automakers as well. The Hero Secure phone, powered by Murena, has emerged as a major highlight at the ongoing CES trade show, appealing to users prioritizing privacy in a data-driven digital age. The CES 2026 is also displaying a humanoid robot designed by robotics company Sharpa that can deal cards for a game of blackjack. Las Vegas. London Zoo conducted its annual stocktake counting more than 8,000 animals under its care. Humboldt penguins, Asiatic lions and a pair of capybaras were amongst the animals being assembled and tallied up. Japan's Tamagotchi exhibition has opened for the public in Tokyo to commemorate its 30th anniversary. The exhibition celebrates iconic digital pets in craze in the 1990s. A French collector remembers legendary film star Brigitte Bardot as he goes through his collection of objects related to the iconic star who passed away in December last year. Locals and visitors in India's Gujarat are charged up with enthusiasm to celebrate the upcoming Uttarayan festival to be held next week. The festival marks the sun's northwards movement. The ongoing Ahmedabad International Flower Show 2026 is garnering attention from spectators as it showcases India's vibrant history, culture, achievements and much more in a creative yet informative way. And entertainment news now. Bollywood actor Ranveer Singh's Dhurandhar film has rewritten the box office books by beating Pushpa 2, The Rule, to become the highest grossing Hindi film of all time. Veteran genre host and personality Brandon Davis is entering a new phase of his career with the launch of The Brandon Davis Show, a podcast that will publish 3 times a week on YouTube and podcasting platforms. Netflix has renewed the popular romantic dramedy Emily in Paris, starring Lily Collins, for a 6th season. The renewal comes less than 3 weeks after the season premiered on the streaming platform. Following the success of The Housemaid, Sydney Sweeney might soon return for the sequel directed by Paul Feig. Oscar-nominated actor Sebastian Stan, known for playing Bucky Barnes aka the Winter Soldier in Marvel films, may be a part of Robert Pattinson's starrer The Batman Part 2. The latest teaser of Marvel Studios' upcoming Avengers Doomsday has been unveiled, reigniting fan excitement with the much-awaited return of the X-Men. French film icon Brigitte Bardot will be laid to rest in the French Riviera town on Wednesday. Béla Tarr, the iconic Hungarian filmmaker, died at the age of 70. Tarr was born in 1955 in Pécs and began his career as an amateur filmmaker at the age of 16. Winners of the New York Film Critics Awards dazzled at the red carpet in New York. Filmmakers, actors and creatives arrived in striking ensembles that reflected both classical elegance and bold contemporary flair. Stranger Things Season 5 has surged into Netflix's all-time top 10 following the release of its last episode. The final season drew massive global viewership. Some sports now, and PV Sindhu has scripted a remarkable comeback win over Sung Xiao Yun of Chinese Taipei in the first round of the Malaysia Open in Kuala Lumpur. Sindhu will face Japan's Tomoka Miyazaki in the round of 16 at the Malaysia Open on Thursday. Top-ranked Indian shuttler Lakshya Sen progressed to the second round of the Malaysia Open in Kuala Lumpur. Meanwhile, India's Ayush Shetty began his 2026 season on a high, defeating Paris Olympics medalist Li Jia in the first round. Indian captain Harmanpreet Kaur has moved up 2 spots to reach 13th position in the ICC Women's T20 International Batting Rankings. England's batter Jacob Bettel slammed a maiden Test century against Australia on the 4th day of the 5th Ashes Test in Sydney. The tourists were 302 runs for the loss of 8 wickets at stumps as England built a tenuous 119-run lead to leave the final Ashes Test on a knife's edge. Coco Gauff pulled off double duty to drag defending champions the United States into the United Cup semi-finals. Gauff secured a 6-3, 6-2 win over Maria Sakkari in Perth, and in the deciding mixed doubles, Gauff teamed up with Christian Harrison to battle past Stefano Tsitsipas and Sakkari. Meanwhile, Poland secured their place in the quarterfinals of the United Cup on Wednesday after they defeated the Netherlands. In the Hockey India League, the Tamil Nadu Dragons held their nerve against Surma Hockey Club to secure a 3-2 victory. Home favourite Alexander Thomas clinched the first gold at the Khelo India Beach Games 2026 in Pensak Silat event in Diu. Brazilian footballer Neymar has agreed to extend his contract with Santos until the end of 2026 as he hopes for a World Cup call-up despite recent injuries. Barcelona will face Athletic Bilbao in the semi-final of the 2026 Super Cup in Jeddah on Wednesday night. And coach Hansi Flick has said the match would not be easy and his team would have to defend well after praising Bilbao's attack. That's a wrap as far as this edition of Express News is concerned, but for all the latest, keep watching DD India.